Orin was a city of absolute silence. Here, the citizens walked with their heads bowed low, their eyes forever fixed on the cracked and dusty pavement. Elian was the only one who moved differently. Dressed in oversized rags and carrying a rusted bucket, he spent his days collecting scraps from the gutters. He was invisible, a ghost in his own home. Suddenly, the heavy sound of iron boots shattered the quiet. The city guard shoved him aside with cruel force, kicking his bucket into the thick mud. "Get out of the way. You mistake," the commander spat, his voice dripping with venom. Elian did not look up. He simply waited for the shadows to pass. As he retrieved his bucket, Elian's fingers brushed against a jagged piece of metal embedded deep in the stone wall. It pulsed with a dull violet light, a color forbidden in Orin. He pulled back, gasping, as a glowing scar began to form on his palm. The pattern was intricate, tracing a design that defied every law of the city. Panicked, yet driven, he hid his hand within his sleeve and ran toward the Forbidden District. He reached the crumbling ruins of the old temple, where the air felt thick with ancient secrets. Hana stood by the stone door, her hand hovering over a seal of light. She turned, her eyes widening as she saw the violet mark. "You are the one," she whispered, stepping back to let him pass. Elian pressed his glowing palm against the cold stone. The ground began to shake, a low rumble that grew into a roar. The seal shattered with a sharp, piercing silence that felt louder than any scream, instantly silencing the city's bells. Inside, he found a mirror that revealed the terrible truth. The city was a cage, held together by the stolen vitality of its own people. Elian realized his power was a vacuum. He could drain the very energy that fueled this control. He reached for the central pillar, the violet glow surging up his arm like liquid fire. The temple groaned under the pressure. Outside, the sky turned a sickly shade of gray as the guards rushed forward. But as they approached, their armor began to rust and crumble in seconds. Elian stood at the center of the storm, his eyes reflecting the deep void. He slammed both palms onto the floor. A massive shockwave leveled the temple walls, sending dust into the heavens. The city's golden dome flickered, sparked with dying light, and finally went dark. For the first time in centuries, the citizens of Orin looked up. The silence was no longer a requirement, but a choice. Elian walked out from the settling dust, Hana following close behind him. His hand remained glowing, a permanent reminder of the power he now held. The weight of the broken rule rested heavily on his shoulders, but he did not bow his head. He looked out over the horizon of a broken city and a free people. He was no longer a mistake to be stepped on. He was the end of their era, and the beginning of something unknown.